So, Dave, I don't
Hmm.
know if you knew this. Were you aware that there were movies that were set, like, there were movies before the one that we're going to talk about today?
No,
I thought this
I was
was.
completely surprised.
I was watching this movie and I was like, there's so many people, and I don't know who any of them are. And then
Mhm.
I do a quick little, Google search. I don't ask chat, but I do a quick little Google search, and I find out that there's a couple movies before this one that is like the lead up, that this is like apparently some whole big conclusion.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought this was the first one.
Yeah, there's one. There's like it's two. There's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Apparently, people say you need to watch.
Something called Thor: The Dark World.
And
I think those are the only two you have to watch. I hope.
that's the only two that I watched after watching this one.
Gotcha.
And I will say, I think they're both better than this one.
Oh.
Imagine if I was serious. Do you want to get going into the episode, because I couldn't really think of a bit to start this?
Yeah, probably.
Or
For
do
the
you
best.
want to sit me in this in my shame?
We can sit in your shame for like maybe 5 seconds.
All right, 5 seconds. Ready? And
Shame, 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 shame.
All right, I think that's good.
cool. We can start the episode then.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Welcome to a series of podcasts discussing series of films.
I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
In a world inundated with prequels, sequels, spin-offs, and reboots, we ask the question:
Do we need one more? I think we do.
I think we don't. All right. So welcome to We Need One More, the only podcast on the internet that is inevitable.
Yes. Dread it, run from it.
Still arrives another episode.
Another episode arrives, all the same.
That's
no.
yeah. No, that's true. That's what he says,
basically
right?
it, yeah.
He says it in the last movie.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp that
Yeah.
we just recently referred to.
Yeah, he kind of says it, and then as I say that, my head gets like cut off.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's like-
hell yeah.
Sounds like a champagne bottle when it flies off.
It scares the shit out of you in the theater when you see it for the first time. Well, welcome to the last episode of our Avengers series.
Yes.
For now.
Hey.
Now we have to end the show.
Yeah. We had it in writing, guys, at the very beginning, that if we ever had a jinx situation, that would just cripple the whole
Yeah,
pod.
it's
And,
etched into a stone tablet. It hangs in the corner of where we
Yeah.
record the show.
Yep.
But we are ending with Endgame, fittingly so. I am not struggling to come up with new thoughts for this movie,
Mhm.
but this is weird because it does feel like I watched this movie yesterday in ways outside of the fact that I did actually watch this movie yesterday.
I was going to say, I actually watched it yesterday,
yeah.
too. So.
I mean, in the sense that, like, the movies that we've talked about on this show, they're either movies that, like, generally, they're either movies that have come out that year,
Mhm.
or they're movies that came out, like, 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it is weird, and COVID, I think, is a big part of this. But, like,
Yeah.
it has been 7 years
Yeah.
almost.
It doesn't feel like it, though.
It doesn't
Feels
feel
like 2
it.
years ago.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, where I'm like, I feel like I was just in the theater watching this, and so I'm like still rewatching the movie. I feel like I'm still ignited by like the same
Mhm.
high I was on in the theater,
I was, too.
and thinking critically about it and really trying to, like, for lack of a better word, like deconstruct kind of the
You're
movie.
like analyzing it with your film
Yeah,
brain.
to pay more attention instead of just being like, holy shit, oh my god, oh fuck.
They did the thing that I never thought would happen.
Yeah, which is
That one poster I had where they're all lined up.
Yeah, exactly. He lifts the hammer in the comics.
I know,
like
yeah.
to not do that,
Yeah.
and instead to like try to be semi.
See, that's what I tried to
connected
do,
or
and then
locked
all
in.
those moments happened again, and then I was like, "Oh, he did the thing."
That is kind of what happened to me as well.
Yeah.
We have a similar history with this movie, but I
Yes.
will still, in the manner of tradition, still ask you, Dave, what is your relationship to Avengers: Endgame?
Never seen it.
Oh, fuck.
No,
I need a riff. I need a riff. I need a riff.
yeah, riff. You're on your own, kid.
I don't know.
I'm like Indiana Jones. I'm like, snakes, you're on your own.
Oh, fuck.
No. So we saw it together when it came out opening
Yes.
night with a massive group of friends.
A lot
and
of
like,
people.
I think like literally everyone we ever went to school with, or maybe, I'm like, that's not me as much, but like everyone that was like friends because of school related things, like we're all there. Like it was like people I hadn't seen in forever.
Yeah,
were
it
like all
was
there too. Like it was like everyone assembled to
fitting.
see. Yeah, it was like a whole thing. And I don't think I've seen quite that turnout since.
No.
Which is interesting.
We
all
we all
the parallels of life are
100%. I mean, we all wore t-shirts that were the time travels, the quantum suits that they wear in
Yeah.
this movie.
yeah.
There's a photo somewhere.
There is. I didn't do that in time because I didn't have any money, so I just wore because I had a stealth suit Captain America shirt.
That's right.
So I wore
yeah.
that. And felt really left out. I felt really dumb for not getting just
But-
like finding a way to get that shirt in time.
He does wear the stealth suit in this movie.
He does, so I was still in pocket, but
That's true.
I'm like the lone penguin going his own way.
Hell yeah. Hey, sometimes you gotta be. But
Sometimes you gotta be. But,
yeah, in terms of
go ahead.
continue. No, continue.
Yeah, no. So I saw it opening night. My head exploded and melted, and I laughed, I cried. I quite literally, I think, had a stroke. Like I remembered things were happening, and I was like thinking I was actually gonna black out because I didn't. As a little nerd growing up, like
Yeah.
I there was sort of this like. I mean, we've all kind of talked about it a bunch, but like this idea that that you could pull something like this off was always impossible.
Totally.
And then to finally like get it and have it be like live up to like what I wanted it to be was insane.
yeah.
So for that,
Some like
there was
motor.
someone playing with RC cars outside.
I think so.
Should we close the window?
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Um,
If not, pretend we're racing toy cars while we do this episode.
so that photo of me in the Talladega Nights.
You're doing the speed racer.
Yeah, man. I love
Um,
seeing the love that episode gets.
I know
It
it's
gets a lot of
really
love.
great, and I think IMAX release. We're all going to be there. Yeah.
I'll certainly be there.
If you haven't watched the Speed Racer episode, stop watching this one and go watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you
Although-
have seen that, go join the Patreon.
It is our most viewed episode currently by far. So I am guessing that if you're watching this, you watched
If you're
it.
watching this, you statistically have probably seen that episode. But if
But-
you haven't, get on board, guys. Don't be
Get-
a loser.
Yeah. What the fuck? What are you doing?
I'm gonna bully people into getting us more views.
Good thing
That's
we
a
should
good
do
strategy, right?
to try to foster an audience. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Bullying them.
I
is
think
a
they
good
call
idea.
it negging.
That's true. Well, I have told the audience to fuck off a couple times.
Yeah.
All in jest. I love you all very much. But
Mhm.
Dave, your relationship with Endgame, what is it like? What has it been like? I should maybe a better question. What has it been like post first screening?
I mean, the whole MCU has, I think, struggled to reach these heights, but that is also a very tall bar.
Sure.
I think it's all the phases that have come have like the extreme disadvantage of coming out after this movie because now this
Totally.
is the standard. But also like I feel like if anything, like they should just be like trying to like hone into like what made Iron Man 1 so great and just like look like this is supposed to be sort of a mild reset, a soft
Yeah.
reset. And I don't know that they've quite treated it as well, but I want to go back and watch all the phase 4 and 5 and 6 stuff as we get closer to Doomsday. But
You got a
rewatching
lot
this
of shit to
movie,
watch.
I do. I know.
I believe in you.
I'm at minimum trying to do all the movies and maybe like the 2 highest rated shows.
Fair.
But not Loki because I did actually watch it. If I watched it, I'm probably gonna skip it this time around. I'm gonna try and get stuck. 'Cause I never watched Moon Knight, so I think that's one I'm gonna try and.
I am very
Do.
curious to hear your thoughts on Moon Knight. I
Yeah.
liked Moon Knight for the most part, but it was one of those like I
I
was
know, yeah.
expecting a different show.
Yeah, that's I feel like kind of the problem with all of the shows is that we all kind of think I thought we were gonna get like a different thing, and then we got what we got. But as for this movie, I think this movie holds up on a rewatch.
How have you watched it? Have you watched it at all since watching it for the first time? And seeing
No,
it
actually,
for
I
this?
don't think I have. I think I saw it like 2 or 3 times in theaters, and then I saw clips like over and over again. Like I would watch a lot of clips, so like I was kind of seeing stuff in the movie, but I don't think I've actually sat start to finish and watched the whole thing.
Okay.
So this is like my first like rewatch and proper rewatch in a while, and it was quite enjoyable. It was a good time.
Fair.
How
I've
about you? What's your relationship? to this
never
movie?
seen it. I
I
similar.
don't know her. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, when this movie was coming out, like we had this massive group of friends that we were seeing all these movies with. We recreated the like Avenge the Fallen
Yeah,
posters. Like
we
we
did.
did the little like, which I still love that we did that. I think I honestly think they look great. I
They
think
do.
they look really, really good. We'll have to find ours and maybe we can put them in the episode
That
if we
would be
can.
fun. Yeah.
But I mean, the lead up to this movie, like, could not have been more anticipated. Like the second leaving Infinity War, I was like, I want to turn right back around, get right back into that theater, and be able to see
I know.
what was currently untitled Avengers 4. We didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, we didn't find out for like a couple months what the next one was going to be called.
Endgame was like guessed. People thought, because I mean, Tony and Ultron says that up there, that's the Endgame. Doctor Strange Infinity War says we're in the Endgame now.
Yeah.
So like, I remember it being theorized, and then the Russos being like, oh, the title for Avengers 4 has not been guessed yet.
They're like, it's Serpent Society.
They were like, nobody knows what it is yet. And then when it was announced to the Endgame, they were like, yeah, we just fucking lied. Like, what you guys guessed it. Like, what were we supposed to do?
Do you know that happened on Pretty Little Liars? People kept guessing what it was.
Yes.
So they would like change it, and like by the time the show ends, apparently it's like really convoluted.
I have heard that.
Same with Gossip Girl. I think the same thing happened there.
Yeah, Gossip Girl.
I haven't watched either shows. Should I watch those shows, guys? Comment below.
In terms of Gossip Girl, a show that I have seen, yes, watch it. And different show, Sex in the City. That show, we need to talk more about how good Sex in the City is. That show is very good.
Crap. All right. I'll add it to my list.
Also
I'll watch it. I'll go back and forth between Wonder Man and Sex in the City.
Honestly, goated. A great double. John Slattery also in Sex in the City.
Really?
Yes, plays a very different character. I won't get into it. The show will tell you who he plays.
Interesting.
But
somebody's father, maybe.
No, he plays
someone with daddy issues anyway.
Maybe. He plays
Everyone's
a politician.
Like, you're not wrong.
He plays a politician, is what I'll say. But yeah, I mean, the lead up to this movie, I was like desperately seeking the answers, and watching this movie, it is one of I wrote it in my letterboxed review when I rewatched this for the podcast, that I was like, the only thing I think that will top watching it for the first time in a theater with everyone, with all of us, is showing it to my kids. Like,
nice.
It's one of those movies that I'm like, I cannot wait for the day that I can see someone especially specifically like my kid react to, I am inevitable, I am Iron Man, to have this experience, because we are in a we're kind of spoiled. It's like an embarrassment of riches that like we get the opportunity as fans of these things to post this movie, get to be like, yeah, well, like this isn't as good as that, and it's like, dude, there's a Wonder Man show. That's fucking crazy. That that there is a Wonder Man show, and the guy who plays Wonder Man also played Black Manta, who also was in a movie that also looks really good.
Black Manta.
Black Manta rules. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II rules.
Dude's good. He's good at what he does.
He's the best. But like the fact that we get to exist at this moment, I think, is really special. I was talking with one of my coworkers, Tommy, about Star Wars in regards to this. That it's like I'm just happy that I get to be around at a time when this is accessible. And Endgame is one of those things that rewatching it, I was like, man, I get to fucking say that I was in the theater, and watched it for the first time, and like.
It's like this is the new Star Wars. We were there when the Death Star blew up,
Talked about that last episode. Like, I totally think this is our Star Wars that isn't Star Wars.
Yeah.
And upon rewatching this movie, I do believe, I think, for its own reasons, right? I think this is one of the best comic book movies ever made.
I would agree with that.
It is in my top 10. Of all time.
Where is it in the top 10?
It's 6.
Is it ranked, or is it sort of
it's
loose?
I can read it right now if we want.
I
Internet,
will be giving thumbs up and thumbs down.
The internet can yell at me. Which they don't do that often.
No. The internet's usually a very quiet and respectful place.
Starting, that's So true, and we forget that.
People are gonna tear that apart. Watch it.
Going from 10 to 1.
10-1.
At 10,
Coming in at number 10 on David Letterman.
Logan.
Nice.
Great movie
Opening strong.
that, also makes me really sad.
It's very sad.
At number 9, maybe should be higher if you know me, but this is currently where it is.
Back to the Future Part 2.
No, but wouldn't that be funny? 1990s Steve Barron's own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah.
A movie that I just rewatched and own on 4K.
That's great.
Rules. At number 8, Batman Begins.
Okay.
At number 7,
Okay.
The Dark Knight.
All right.
Because
Back to back.
I put them both on there because I think Batman Begins is like, holy shit, I didn't know superhero movies could be like this.
Yeah.
And then The Dark Knight, not to sound too film bro-y, but like The Dark Knight finds a way to top that feeling. Like you go like, oh shit, I didn't know superheroes could be like this with Batman Begins. And then you walk out of The Dark Knight and you're like, I didn't know they could be like that. Like,
yeah, I didn't know you could make a movie like that.
You kind of do it again. At number 6, Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right.
A
Above
movie-
the Dark Knight.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Get fucked. I just think the fact you made me cry at a talking tree.
This is fair.
Like that's unbelievable. And
Mhm.
and James Gunn, I think, is
He's-
up there
he's
with
goated.
Nolan and Raimi. At number 5, Avengers Endgame. That's
Ooh,
where it is.
number 5. It's the top. It cracks the top 5.
Imagine if number 4 was like Howard the Duck, Jonah Hex, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and fucking.
I was gonna do Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Oh, that would have been good. That movie's kind of fun.
That movie's kind of great. I don't think it's top 10, but it's that movie's fun.
It's number
It's fun.
11. It's my honorary 11.
I mean, like we don't appreciate it for trying to be whatever it was trying to be back in the day.
At number 4, Superman the movie.
Right on.
Rips and fucks and is
Mhm.
good.
Yep.
Number 3, Black Panther.
Okay.
I think that movie speaks for itself. There's
Yeah.
nothing that I can say that doesn't go for that movie. People who are like CGI, the third act. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be honest.
Thematically, that movie's operating at a level
Yeah.
that few do. So
Watch Killmonger's final scene and then fuck off.
I'm sorry, I'm too distracted by the scene where his shirt came off.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Number 2, Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
And at number 1,
Darkman.
Howard the Duck.
Ah.
Darkman rules. Darkman is so good.
Is Darkman in your top 20 or is it?
And Darkman's. I mean, it's not based on a comic book character,
That's fair.
but it does. It does rule.
Yeah. Number 1 is Alec Baldwin's The Shadow.
that. How did you know? Number 1 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, right on.
I think that movie's an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
I think it's the best Spider-Man movie. I think it's one of the best animated movies,
All right.
or at least big budget animated movies. It's in my top 10 movies of all time.
Right on.
I think that, and what it did for animation,
That movie's great.
I
Do
think,
you think we're gonna get a part 3?
yeah,
Or is that a question for this show?
that's true.
That's worthy of a whole episode, I think.
That's my top 10 as of now.
As
It
of now,
always
interesting.
changes.
I'm surprised you don't
Iron Man
have
was on that
any
list.
Raimi Spider-Man in there.
Spider-Man 2,
Or was that in which one?
number 2.
Oh, it's number 2. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm bad at listening, guys. Sorry.
top 3 was Black Panther, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man Into the
Right on.
Spider-Verse.
Very solid list. I like it.
Thank you.
I will put one together and have it ready by Endgame.
There you go.
No,
by
we're doing
Doomsday.
Doomsday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
I'll
like,
share
we're in
mine when we do it.
Endgame.
Yeah.
You got to
Sorry.
do it by the end of the
Doomsday.
episode.
I'm bad at talking too. That's a problem for a podcast.
But it is in my top 5. I
Mhm.
think the fact that this movie exists is fucking is crazy.
Yeah.
I saw this movie 5 or 6 times in theaters.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I
Um,
saw it like 4 total.
I think it was.
And I think I was invited to a
6.
5th, and then I don't think I had time. I think I had work one of the days.
I saw it many times in theaters.
Mhm.
I watched it on a rewatch with my sister.
Mhm.
I've watched it. I put it on once to like clean my house, and then I found myself like
Just watching it.
just standing, holding a vacuum, and just kind
Yeah,
of
it's
like
just,
sitting
on,
there.
like, woo.
Yeah, exactly. It's still on, and I can't even tell. And then rewatching it for this podcast. So I have seen this movie close to 10 times.
like once at least.
Yeah, at least once. The Russos are filmmakers that I have opinions about.
Yes.
But I think that they really knocked it out of the park with this.
This one's really good. It's kind of surprising the turn their careers kind of taken since they stopped doing these.
Yeah, we that is a conversation maybe for the Doomsday episode to talk about
Probably.
what
I'm also gonna try and watch
it's
some
been like
Russo
since.
movies then, because I am like genuinely curious if there's like a through line or things I need to be scared of for Doomsday.
That's fair.
You know, like I'm
Well,
just like the whole thing fascinates me. How do you do like all the most well received Marvel movies and then immediately just get like dragged through the streets? Like
Cherry, Gray Man, Electric State.
yeah, like just like back to back, like you know, I mean Hollywood pretty clear on it being abject failures. Now I haven't actually seen these movies.
They did produce
So-
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, and then they
Which
do
credits
that,
them.
you know.
And specifically credit the people who directed that movie. The
Yeah.
Daniels, written and directed it.
yes.
But yeah,
Do you know they did the Turn Down for What music video?
I did.
That music video is very funny.
It's very good.
Turn Down for
You seen
What?
Swiss Army Man?
I have seen Swiss Army Man.
Good.
It's a good time.
But
Daniel Radcliffe is an underrated actor of our generation.
he's great, dude. But I think this movie is. I still have basically a lot of the nitpicks or kind of the criticism that I have with Infinity War do relatively still carry over here in some respects. If we just kind of want to jump into kind of quality
let's
of
do it.
film, I still really have a problem with one, the way they color their movies, and I have a problem with you know the final battle of Infinity War, like it takes place like on a grass plain in Wakanda.
Yep.
And then Titan, which is just like orange rubble.
Yep.
So they're pretty visually uninteresting.
Yeah.
And
It's just
Endgame
like a field.
and Endgame, it's like the final battle of Endgame is a gray crater.
Yeah.
And it's like
They probably filmed it in the same debris they pulled up for Titan. Like
yeah, like it's like
they just moved like a big piece of debris over here.
the process of event, you know, the things that happen in the plot that get us to that point. Like I like all the stuff that's happening. I'm not to say that like I think the movie puts us in a bad spot. I just think it's just so visually bland.
Yeah.
And I want, again, I kind of said this on the Infinity War episode where it's like you're doing something that's never been done before, so like
Yeah.
I'm willing to give you a little bit of grace.
Yeah.
Which is how kind of me, blah blah blah. You know, like
Yeah.
fucking whatever. Like, shut up, film podcast boy. But I that is like something that still bugs me. Rewatching this, like sitting there, like you know, there were a few different times where I was like, why is everything the same color?
Yeah.
Like there are times where it's like Captain America's suit is like gray
Yep.
next to Thor's suit, which is gray
Yep.
next to the background, which is gray.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, dude, can we have a little bit of like,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit more dynamic in terms of what we're doing with the coloring. With
And
the
it's a
lighting.
shame too, because there's a couple shots in this movie that are quite beautiful.
100%.
That like it's like they never quite, you know, lock that part in a little bit.
And I
you
think
know?
the visual effects are better in this one.
they are. They
They
are.
shot them at the same time, so they just had more,
They just had more time to do a
cook
lot of
with
it, yeah.
these. But so like that stuff is still very much the
Mm-hmm.
same. But I do prefer this movie to Infinity War.
All right. Yeah.
Personally,
I think this movie's fantastic. I feel like they're like neck and neck for me.
that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I think generally like my takeaway is like they are two parts of the same whole. Like I take them both as one. But if I was to
Yeah.
pick, I think I like that this movie is about like loss and failure.
Yeah.
I think it's the feeling of how empty everyone is and how defeated everyone is and pushing through that
Yeah.
is felt multiple times throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, you know, as a guy who loves Back to the Future and as someone who is on a podcast that is named after a line from a heist movie,
Yep.
the fact that this is
A time heist.
a time heist that is essentially doing things that are similar, even though it flips the bird to Back to the Future. It's
A little bit,
doing
yeah.
similar things to Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, an easy mark for that. Like
Mhm.
it kind of is speaking directly, not directly specifically to me, only me, but like it's hitting all the chords that I
Yeah. It
have
hits all
liked
the
in
boxes
past.
you want checked in a movie.
Yeah, I'm like a heist movie with superheroes that is
Pretty-
like a
pretty
time
good.
travel.
It's
Like-
also like a walk down memory lane of the last like 10 years. Like
And it doesn't feel, what's great about that is it doesn't feel dumb. Like, it doesn't
No, it
feel
doesn't.
forced.
It's like part of the plot. They like figured out a way to tie everything and pay it off. Like this is the ultimate season finale.
Well, it's like when they go to New York, like in 2012, like it is that thing of, yeah, man, you got to go to New York, and you did set
Mhm.
up like the fact that it's like, yeah, like they're when Natasha has the moment where she realizes, like,
There's 3
guys,
stones in New York. Yeah.
there's 3 stones in New York at one period of time, is like such a great moment of revelation.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only does it make sense here, Dish has something to say, so I'm
That's
picking up
like
the mic.
one of my favorite scenes
Yeah.
when they're rapping and they're just like, "What's going on?" And then that line hits, and you're like, "Oh, that was good." Like,
yeah.
because and I'm gonna start to spoil if I could step on your guys'
Yeah,
time
go
real
for it.
quick.
Step away.
One of my favorite parts about this movie is that it feels so well executed from the years and years of planning. Like they
Mhm.
wrote this outline and they knew exactly where they were going.
Yeah.
And so that scene being like, duh, we already knew that we were gonna say, it just feels like that. You know,
Yeah.
like it just
Yeah.
felt so well planned.
Yeah. Well, it's like funny because I don't like it wasn't for a while, but they figured it out like I think in the 4 years like leading up what they were gonna do. I feel like that whole phase one was just trying to get across the finish line.
Apparently,
But-
the time travel thing was kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
That they did not know that they were going to do that.
Yeah. But the way they were able to figure out how to make everything connect is like one of the greatest like tricks that they ever able to pull with this whole thing was to be able to tie it all together this like neatly.
Totally. And I think, and I was kind of saying this off mic, some of the things that I really like about this movie, and speaking again in terms of quality of film and stuff like that, like one of the reasons why I prefer this movie to Infinity War is because it is so constantly keeping me guessing.
Yeah.
Infinity War, there's a lot of like, oh shit moments in the plot.
Yeah.
But like looking back to how it was in the theater watching it for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
when Thanos is killed 20 minutes into the movie,
You're like, that's
you're
it.
like when the speed at which that stuff is happening, you're like, oh shit, we're going like right into this. And when you see the stones destroyed and then Thanos is killed, I remember being in the theater being like, okay, so like, what the fuck is this movie about then?
I know, yeah. There's like 40 minutes where you don't know what's gonna happen with the rest of the movie.
And that's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
that is unbelievable. Like, when I go into Infinity War, I'm like, right, Thanos is searching for the stones. The Avengers need to stop him.
Yep.
And
We have a
granted,
pretty loosely we understand what the goal is, you know.
yeah, which is not
Get the stones away from the purple guy, you save the world.
yeah, which
And
is
then
not,
they fail.
which is not true. Which is not a knock against Infinity War at all. But I think it is. I really appreciate Endgame's constant
Mm-hmm.
shifting of everything,
Yeah.
and like Scott showing up, and when we were hearing that it's a time heist, like I'm like, oh shit, like that's insane. And the way the movie is constantly pivoting in a way where you're not really able to, it's keeping you guessing,
Uh-huh.
which for like a $365 million blockbuster that's like, you know,
Mhm.
has like a 100,000 people like
Yeah.
looking over the director's shoulder and like trying to make sure everything is, you know what I
Making
mean?
sense, everything lines up.
All that maintenance of like big studio filmmaking, to have a movie that does surprise the audience and
Yeah.
actually like, you know, isn't just like playing the hits. It does go back to things that we love in the MCU, but like it's constantly like keeping you engaged. Like,
Yeah.
I think is really wonderful to see. I think
Mhm.
a lot of big blockbuster filmmaking nowadays can be like really lazy, and this movie is not that. It feels really intentional, and I rewatching it, I was in constant amazement that I was like, yeah, like this is fucking rad that they're doing all this shit. It not to the same level, but it's like, you know, I remember watching Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, rewatching it,
Mhm.
and being like, I didn't know that Disney would allow them to make a movie like this.
I know, yeah. Well, even like Dead Man's Chest, there's like people getting like tentacles ripping dudes through like walls and they're like bending
Yeah.
in half, and you're just like, this is like a horror movie.
And it's like that
It's
shit's
crazy that movie's PG-13.
for
A
real.
dude gets his face sucked off by a suction cup.
Well, hey, one day we're gonna talk about those movies. But and not to
Today is
say
not that day.
Endgame is not doing anything that like dark. Like I'm not, but
No.
it is constantly surprising me to echo myself
Yeah.
again.
No, it does. It does a lot of. It doesn't take any of the things you would expect to happen, and then it does it so beautifully. I do have like one thing that I've never quite liked.
Hmm.
And I don't like that Scott Lang comes back because a rat runs across the keyboard.
I was going to ask you how do
I
you feel about the rat
I
that
feel
saves
like
the
with
universe?
all of the like I know it's supposed to be like 1,000,000 to odds that like Strange sets up, but I feel like it would work better if they were like, we found like Scott's stuff and we just saw a blinking light and we thought we should push the button. Like, I don't know why like Hulk couldn't have been the one to just intentionally push the button. I know they have like that joke where they reveal he's the smart Hulk and he's just like sitting there and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. I always kind of thought that there was going to be like I found the loophole, and it is in that fact that like Scott, we have to do it down to the second. Like I always because when there all the theories were going on like before Endgame came out, one theory was that because it was half the universe, that Scott was supposed to be in the half that got wiped, but because he was in the quantum realm, he didn't get snapped. So when he came back, it like messed with everything. And so I always thought he was going to be like on a timer or something and it was going to like shoot him out. And that would be like like how they were, I don't know. Like that was like something I thought was maybe going to be played with. So it was just like for it to just be like a rat, which was kind of funny, I guess, but like very like random, I guess. But pretty much everything else about this movie is awesome. And I have like no complaints.
That's fair. The rat.
And then the rat thing's like nitpicky because it doesn't really affect the plot that much. I mean, other than in terms of like how he gets in, but as like a writing choice, I find it very odd.
It's I think I understand what you're saying. I feel
Yeah.
like some people
That makes
could.
sense.
Yeah, no. It is. I think at worst, things like that, and I'm not necessarily saying the rat specifically, but things like that can seem a little lazy. It's vaguely Deus Ex Machina coded of like,
A little bit.
and then this thing comes in and saves the day.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the rat, it is one of, I don't know. I go back and forth about it. I really am not of one opinion on it, where I am like, it's a little easy,
Yeah.
but also it does feel like the movie is like that's almost the point, maybe, that it is like it's just trying. It's like, yeah, sometimes shit happens, and like
Yeah.
because it's the one. Presumably, Doctor Strange saw the rat go across the dial, right? That it's the
Yeah. And
it's
he's like,
the
oh,
one
perfect.
in 14 million chance that this happens.
Yeah.
So I go back and forth on it, but I do get
Yeah.
the criticism on
yeah.
that is fair.
For a
I
movie
think.
that's so full of intention, it's just funny that like one of the like the key moment of like we're gonna get a second chance comes because they ran across the keyboard. It's so random. Like I don't know. Like it's like part of me wants it to be like a different person like in disguise, or somehow the rat's like influence. Like I don't know.
More of an intentional accident than
Yeah,
just,
like I wish it was like a
which is
character's
an
intentional
oxymoron, I know,
choice
but
to do that, and so it's like that's kind of it. But like everything else about the movie is so cool.
yeah, I mean, I think like the journeys specifically that all the characters go on is really
Mhm.
what sings for me in this. I think Scarlett Johansson is fucking fantastic.
She's
in
on
this
fire
movie.
in this movie. She's so good.
I've never been more sad watching someone eat a sandwich in my entire life.
I know.
When she's holding the sandwich and she's like, she takes that bite and she looks at Steve and she has her eyes are welling up.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, dude. She's
Yeah.
fucking, God, she's such
She's
a
doing
good
great
actor.
work. And Chris Evans is doing amazing work in that scene too.
Evans is doing great work. Renner is doing great work.
Mm-hmm.
That final scene with him and Natasha when they're hanging
Yeah.
off the balcony or off the cliff,
Amazing.
and he
Amazing.
says,
heartbreaking.
he gives that last please.
Yeah.
It's so vulnerable. It's
Like he's like, let me be the one to do this, and she's like, no.
that scene I've seen people say like has like maybe a little bit too much business of them like going kind of one after the other trying to sacrifice each other, which is I get, but also like rewatching it again, it didn't affect me as much in terms of it being grading.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everyone is doing, I think everyone is really on their A game. Karen Gillan is the fucking best.
She's
as
so
Nebula.
good, dude. Amelia Pond.
Yeah, Amelia Pond herself. Yeah, whatever her character. Ruby Roundhouse, is that her character in Jumanji? Can we get a fact check on that? If it is, I've seen both movies.
I need to watch them. They sound like a fun time.
I mean, it does feature Karen Gillan as a character named Ruby Roundhouse. So
yeah, you kind of had me on that one.
But she's so fucking good in this movie. Like it is crazy how many people are in this and how many don't say anything.
Yeah, this is true.
Those that do get, I think, a lot of
Yeah.
layers to play.
Yeah, I don't love Hemsworth as much in this one. I
No?
find I think it's really it's funny, but I feel like under the circumstances, like I feel like I feel like they don't thread the needle on that. It ends up just being like, look at him, he's fat, and isn't that funny a lot of the time? And I don't like that part. I don't love either. It's like he goes from being like so like brooding and like strong and like it's like I know the whole idea is that he's like broken and stuff, and I'm not saying I have a problem with him being like
Sure.
that he's just been drinking himself to death for like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But I find that there's a lot of moments that could be more sincere, and he's just kind of blubbering for comedy, I feel like, in a lot of those moments, and I don't know that it works.
I get parts of that. I do think the movie,
Because I know he's an incredible dramatic actor, and I feel like everyone else is getting a chance to flex that way. And I'm not saying it can't also be funny, but I feel like they just don't get the tone right on it.
I think that first scene, I think they nail. I think the reveal of him as, for lack of a better word, fat Thor. I think like what they call, how they've described it. Like, I think that
The first scene does
reveal
work.
is great.
Yeah, the first scene works. It's specifically when they go back in time and they're in Asgard in 2012 or whatever. I feel like that scene, or is it 2012? I don't remember. Whenever they go to
2013.
whenever they go to the Dark World, I feel like that's his stuff in that scene isn't as strong.
I think
I like a lot of stuff with the mom.
I think
I feel like his like conversation with Rocket is a little bit weak.
is it the ending? Because I think the conversation with Rocket, what Rocket is saying to him, I like.
I like what Rocket's trying to do. I feel like he's in a comedy for that, and I feel like Rocket's in a drama, and I don't know that the two are in the same scene together. That's kind of where I'm at with that scene.
I get that. I mean, I do think to speak on the arc of Thor and stuff like that, just to kind of like continue to get into it, because I think it's fun, and I know it's kind of divisive for some people, that people think that it's like goofy that he gains weight and all this other stuff. The idea that Thor is like that he's lost what he lost in Ragnarok, and then he loses what he loses in Infinity War, and then he tries to get it back, and then that he is the guy who essentially, like, I'm not blaming Thor, but I have a feeling this is how he'd feel about himself. That he's the guy who is inches away from solving the problem and killing Thanos.
Yeah, and
he made the mistake of going for the chest and
No.
wanting to revel in it.
Yeah, no,
And-
I get all that. I find. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, not to say that I think you're bumping up against that. I just want to just talk about it.
Oh yeah, you're good. Sorry, talk away.
but-
Let me.
Like, I think the idea that destroys a
Yeah.
guy, and that he does fall into this stupor, and that him leaning into comedy, which is why I feel like that first scene is so good, of him like being like, oh, you want
Yeah.
to fix the kid, like,
Yeah, well, there's
when-
like a moment when he sobers up and is like, "Don't ever say that." And I thought like he needed a little bit more of those like moments where he like locks in and says like, "No, like you don't understand like what I'm going through."
the
Like,
movie definitely
he
has,
spends a lot of time being like, and it's like, okay.
I think it's stuff for me. I think it's when the movie is kicking on him that maybe I bump up with. This is a funny joke that I'm about to reference, but I think it's funny in a vacuum. I think in the context of everything, I think it's similar to kind of what you're bumping up against, is when they're talking about who's going to use the gauntlet that Iron Man makes to do the snap, and Thor says it should be me. And he says, "Do you know what is coursing through my veins right now?" And
Yeah.
Rhodey responds with cheese whiz.
Yeah, that's a funny moment.
Which is a funny moment, but that I think is the movie maybe having too much fun with the thing, as opposed to it,
Yeah.
his comedy being a motivated deflection of where his head is at, because that is
Yeah,
something that is
the math is just a little off, I think, for what it is. I feel like it's like it feels like what he was doing in Infinity War, he filmed before he did Ragnarok, and now he's playing the Ragnarok Thor that's like hyper improv. And I don't know. It's the tone of it, I never really matched up with the rest of the movie for me, I guess.
they are leaning into the goofiness with it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It works for me, but I understand wanting to reckon with the arc a little bit more dramatically, because they touch on it at moments.
Yeah.
I think the bit of him holding his hand out for Mjolnir, and that I think Hemsworth really plays that moment well, of him saying, "I'm still worthy,"
Yeah.
of realizing that he is still that guy despite kind of all the loss and the sacrifice that he's had. I think all that is really good. but I do get
Yeah, it's just the tone of it all. It's not even specifically what the beats are. It's just it's I don't know. And for a movie that's like as heavy as it is, I feel like it's misplaced comedy some of the times when they're in his stuff. And there's a lot of other funny moments that like work really well, and I feel like the balance is really good there. But
yeah.
his stuff is kind of hit and miss, I feel.
Most of the comedy, I would say,
Yeah.
works. I don't think it ever leans too far. I also think there's not a ton of. There's the one joke, the fucking when Tony comes back to Earth, which I will shout out in terms of the visual effects. The kind of way that they make Downey look like kind of sickly and that he's kind of malnourished in the beginning of the movie, I think is really, really great. But the honest to God, up until this moment, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
Funny joke. But I've still, I guess it's maybe just his Rocket's defeat
Mhm.
when he says maybe I am. That he's just
Yeah.
I've always maybe had problems. I've had trouble wrapping my head around that joke, but I guess it does just come from his like
Yeah, he's like
self defeat of just like fuck it, man. Who
he's
gives
like,
a
yeah,
shit?
whatever, man.
Rocket maintaining being one of the best characters in the MCU.
He is one of the best characters in the MCU. Guardians 3 fucking rules.
Guardians 3 does rule. That's one like Pirates where I'm like, I can't believe they're letting James
Yeah.
Gunn make this
Yeah,
movie.
this exists. Like this
Um,
is not like this is so like in the face of like anything that like I feel like there's so many movies that have been ruined because they were trying to do that and then they were like, you're not allowed to do that. And then they
yeah.
nerf the hell out of it. So it's always fun when those happen.
Where do you stand on in terms of like the writing of the film and stuff like that? Tony figuring out time travel. Because I know
Like in terms of like he just
speed
sort
at
of,
which he does it.
I always think it's a little fast, but I also feel like because of how much other stuff they have to get to, I kind of get why it's so fast.
I agree.
Um,
I also think there's the reason that they go to him is probably because
he's the one who can do it the fastest. Yeah, it's I always it's like funny. I was always like I think this thought every time I see that scene, but the way he just like tells the computer he wants to run a simulation, like he doesn't actually plug in anything. He just looks at it and goes, "Run a Kobayashi, blah blah blah, Caramel Frap Macchiato." Yeah, let's just see what that does. Like he just like says words and it just does it, and then he's like, "I did it."
I
always thought that was funny because I'm like, that computer is insanely intuitive to be able to like take that and then just go do the experiment without him actually having to do anything.
It rewatching it, that scene feels to me more like he hasn't been working on this for hours, that he's just kind of been like, yeah, I'll kind of fuss around with what this could be. Hypothetically, maybe it's this. Try the inverted matrix or whatever. And then when it does it, he's like, that was like my third guess.
He's like, I figured it out already. Yeah.
I think so too, because honestly, they could have just done like a little more bags under the eye or another 2 cups of coffee like on the table.
Yeah.
Just to sell that like he's been doing this since they left because it's going to bug him or something.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I don't know what time of the year it is, but like it already seems late. And then his daughter's up, so it's not like too late, but it is past bedtime.
Yeah.
And then Pepper's just like chilling on the couch. I'm like, how late is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time of the night is
7
this?
p.m. maybe?
Yeah,
Like,
it's probably
it doesn't
like
feel
early.
like burning the midnight oil trying to figure out time travel.
No, it's not.
I will say, as an average consumer, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I will say,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's Tony Stark. He has all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense to me.
built the nanotech suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's something about it.
Yeah, I feel like he's just like, they're like, there's enough information that it's like someone just hasn't connected the dots, and like the only one who can do it in a timely fashion is Tony. He's done so many crazy things like on short notice that it does feel like something that he could do.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like I've never really bumped up against like, because we also don't know how many days are in between that conversation. It does kind of feel like it's that night, but I mean, you could argue it's been a week of him sort of casually throwing things at the
Futzing with
wall.
it.
And
Do we how does the We Need One More podcast, where do we stand on the rules of time travel in Avengers Endgame? Dishes
I was
grabbed the
just
mic.
going to ask you guys, please talk about that.
say that one more time.
The rules of time travel in this movie, which
Well,
they said they talked to quantum physicists about.
I feel like because of the way the writers are approaching it, it makes sense. But if you ask the Russos, they're not
They do say
following the
different
rules
things.
that they're set up. So I think it works pretty much until you get to the passing of the shield, because there's different interpretations of what is happening there.
I think it's smart
Yeah.
that they don't tell you how old Steve is there.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
I mean, I feel like for the rules they set up, it pretty much makes sense, but it is funny that when you ask the Russos, they literally say something completely different.
Have the Russos said like
Yeah, well, because like
Tony's living in this timeline
or
Steve?
yeah, well, because the Russos say that Steve lived his whole life and then jumped back from the other thing, but the writers were like, or no, they're the reverse of like,
Yeah, it feels like it would be.
oh crap, now my brain's like not working. I've immediately confused myself. Because for it to work, he basically would have to go back, but he would be in a separate timeline, right?
Yeah,
He'd be in a branch universe.
The way they explain the time travel and the way that I've kind of wrapped my head around it is essentially it's like instead of like the way like Back to the Future, to reference how they do it, if you go back in time, you're existing on the same timeline, right? So if you go back in time and you futz with time, there will be the ripple effect. But that presumably, and people, in the comments on watching this on YouTube, like let us know because I would love to learn more about this. If you are quantum physicists or have a hobby in that, you don't actually go like you are visiting a different point in time, but you're not going back to your own time.
Yeah.
So what I think Hulk says it right, like.
Yeah.
If you go to the past, you are going to the past in your perception of time,
present future,
which cannot be affected by your past that's already happened.
Yeah.
Which I clocked it when he explained it this time, and I think the writing is meant to confuse you in a way that's like, just let it be and let's move on.
Yeah,
'cause
don't
it kinda
worry about it.
Kind of.
But I think that it makes sense, and in reality, I prefer this. And I love actually how they approach Back to the Future, like with the amount of personalities. And I think it's funny. I've got to acknowledge. I told you guys I wouldn't be in this episode, but it is.
I'm like, get over here, pull up a chair.
The audio people have no clue, but the video people are like, "Where's Dave?"
We're just looking off to camera left.
But yeah, I think like I like how they did it with the different personalities and like people being like, "Hey," like, or Rhodey even being like, "What if we just go kill baby Thanos?" Like, and they just like let that be. But he's like, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. And that's where I think like, Hulk's explanation like kind of is actually confusing on purpose. But in my mind, I'm just like, basically time keeps moving forward. It never like jumps back and then changes history or whatever. It's just like who you are and your perception of time, you're constantly moving forward.
Yeah.
There's no like jumping around and changing stuff. It's when you go back in time, you're still in the present.
Yeah.
You just now exist then, and that's where the branch universes comes evolve.
Yeah.
And then go watch Loki.
I think when it's because in Loki, that's what they deal with is they go like this universe shouldn't exist, and then they like eliminate it, and so they're like quite literally like picking up the like loose threads that were left by this movie essentially.
Yeah. So,
but I think I forget who is like who, but like one group says that like, no, Steve just like waits until like time and then he goes over. And then other people are like, he can't do that. He waits, he lives his life and then he like uses the device to come back briefly or something like that. But
my assumption has always been that he uses the device to come back.
That's the only way it makes sense. And I'm perfectly fine with that.
Now,
I think it makes sense, but it's like he theoretically could just like come back as a young man and do it. He doesn't have to wait till he's old to do it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, presumably he would need a quantum tunnel to re-enter, right?
True.
Right? If you were
no, because they come back without him.
Well, because whenever they go,
right.
when they go in, they pop up anywhere without a machine already being there. They just happen to rendezvous, I think, where the pad is. But then again, I don't know why you need it.
Yeah, I think to your point, Matt, because they went in through the portal.
Yeah.
And then when they come back through the portal.
Yeah.
So the question is like,
what portal did old Steve come out of and then hobble over to the bench?
I prefer to believe that he did come through a portal to not break any rules of like their time travel that they've established. But yeah, he would have had to essentially come back through one. And allegedly that's the only one that has existed.
Yeah.
Or he came in through the van.
But it's broken. Didn't it get destroyed? In terms of like the what is it? The unified timeline? What's it called? Prime?
The sacred
timeline.
Theoretically, he could have, because I guess like what was it, like seconds go by between them like leaving and coming back with the stones. So
Yeah.
Do you think he like comes in like the 5 seconds and then just like hobbles away before the nukes hit?
still small.
Still. No, like he on the time pad and then he like leaves before everyone comes back and they're like, oh, Natasha's dead. Oh, blah 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 blah. Do you think they leave and then he comes in?
Like he came at an earlier
yeah, you know,
time.
before they do the snap and then
Before the
Thanos
battle.
like blows
the
up
whole
everything.
final battle, he's
he comes out, hops in an ATV
He
and
types
rides over
in-
to like out of range and then just watches
He
the whole
types
thing
in
unfold.
2022. And
Yeah,
it could be that. Yeah.
or maybe like in the middle of the night while they're not looking, he's like, "No, I knew no one was in the room, so I just like," and then like,
Fuck it. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense. I do think Dish. I think you're right that it is like the movie is kind of like
Yeah.
just don't worry.
yeah.
about
The
it.
rules of that don't technically.
It won't affect
make
the
any
history of the
sense,
MCU.
but the story's still good anyway.
I think
so.
it's really just
The
how
rules makes-
Cap.
the
I mean,
rules
he's
make sense
he's
of
in
it
Doomsday.
That's true.
True.
But
This actually
also,
could be related to that a little
I
bit. but-
honestly was one of the people in the camp of like, please give us the TV show of him putting back the stones
that would have been sick.
and give us the trouble.
I'll
Like,
take an animated.
there's
version
no
of
way
that.
he just walked up
That'd
and
be
was
fun.
like, stone. Like,
No, there had to have been
just
some
write some
complications.
conflict, and we would love it.
I really want him to briefly get stuck in the prehistoric era so they can do like Avengers 1 million BC and stuff, and you get like young Odin and
Yeah.
like original Black Panther and
That would
like
be rad as
Ghost
shit.
Rider on a mammoth. That'd be sick.
Yeah. That'd be
And then
good.
he can rock the beard and the long hair, a la like Planet of the Apes a little bit. He
I'm-
gets stuck there for like 30 years,
I'm grabbing the mic as I say
a
this.
couple weeks.
I cannot wait for Ghost Rider to enter the MCU.
That's gonna be sick.
I am locked in and fucking clocked in for Ghost Rider to enter. When there is a man in all leather with a fucking chain and a flaming skull head fighting Galactus,
It's gonna be sick.
I can rest easy.
You think he's gonna just do the thing where he looks him in the eye and then he just melts?
He can do whatever he
Like the
wants.
cartoon?
I don't care. I'd love him to. He can do
Yeah.
whatever he wants. But yeah, the time travel thing, it's really just when Steve shows up that I think it begs
Yeah.
questions. Other than that, I have no problem with it. I think it's fun. I think it'll like the dynamics of it. I think relatively
Yeah.
work. And they do such a good job with when you're in the
Mhm.
past, playing with the knowledge that the characters have of those events. I'm specifically referring to Steve.
Yeah.
Steve is rolling like nat fucking 20s.
Dude's combos are off the fucking hook this movie the whole time.
When that elevator opens,
Yeah.
the just like leaned back in his
Dude.
chair and rolled his eyes.
I remember being in the theater and just being like, "Are we?" Because I don't know if I ever said it on this show, but Winter Soldier is my number one movie.
That's my number one too.
Has
That's my
been since
favorite
it's
one.
come out, and nothing has dethroned it. And big part of it is that elevator scene.
That
Yeah.
That elevator scene is insane, and the fact that we got like the same feeling when he walked in this elevator, and you're like,
Well,
"What's gonna
Yeah.
happen?"
I remember being in the theater, and when that door opens, I remember our audience going, "Oh!" Like
Yeah,
everyone
those
in the
guys
theater
are gonna get their asses wiped.
was like round fucking two. But it's so
Satisfying.
It's so satisfying. And it's so smart of the Russos to be like, Steve is not that guy anymore.
Mhm.
Like he has learned, and to have him do the Hail Hydra, and when he walks out with that fucking smirk on his face,
I know. Only
It
to
is-
be immediately confronted by previous Steve.
on my way down to do search and rescue.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
that, the Cap v Cap is
Cap v Cap is pretty great.
pretty great, and it is a different. I was looking at it. It is a different
it's
helmet.
tweaked. I don't know how they've tweaked it, but it's better.
It is from what I
Significantly
looked at
better.
it. It is basically the cowl that they have designed for the others, like the Endgame, the
Yeah.
Civil War, the Winter Soldier suit. It's that helmet. They've just
Yeah.
reconfigured the bottom portion.
Yeah.
So the way it fits his head is exactly the same as the Winter Soldier helmet does.
Yeah.
It's a little lower on the eyes.
Yeah.
It's a little flatter. Like it's not as bulky.
It's so much flattering. It makes that suit look like better than it's ever looked.
It does. That helmet looks
and
really
because it's
good.
like for a long time, I think we all were like, yeah, that suit kind of sucks. And
It's just the helmet.
Yeah, it really is the helmet kind
The
of. He
boots
loses
are
a
a
lot
little
of
much
points.
to
The
me.
boots are a little much, but like when he takes the helmet off, it looks pretty good. But then in that scene when they're fighting each other and he's wearing it, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and then for him to use Bucky is alive,
yeah,
like as a bit to get out of that fight, knowing that it'll
it's
like
a good thing they
freak
removed
him
that
the fuck out.
particular universe from the branch because there's a lot of chaos going on in that one.
Yeah, they fuck some shit up in that.
Yeah.
Well, that's Loki's.
That's essentially the show for
show
Loki is
Loki's
just to be like,
universe.
hey, don't worry about this stuff. We're just gonna get rid of it, so we don't have to think about the consequences
Yeah.
of that. Although they could have easily sat that stuff on the back burner for Doomsday and used that as like part of the explanation, maybe.
They might.
But
bring
maybe
some
they
of that
will.
stuff
Who
up.
knows? It's too early to tell.
But like Tony knowing, when Hank and Howard Stark, when the Tesseract, when they're all going to be in the same location, I think is very smart. Obviously, we aren't too privy of that as MCU watchers, but like that whole sequence of them going through the military base, I think is really great. I think it's also really important it's obviously it's very important as a character journey for the two of them.
Yeah.
That like they both kind of that Steve sees Peggy and sees this woman whose life he finally realizes he has the ability to maybe go back and see her. And then for Tony to see his dad presumably just before he himself is born.
Yeah.
And to like get to have that moment to give advice to his dad and to like almost like make amends with his dad even though Howard doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Before
he
his
sort of gets
death.
to bury the hatchet before he goes and saves the world.
Yeah, I mean, I will hold honestly, like legitimately, like, and kind of talking earlier about like watching this movie with my kids, like when Tony hits that, no amount of money ever bought a second of time.
Yeah,
like I'm like, fuck, man, like
good line.
That's a good fucking line.
And I like the way he responds too. Like,
yeah,
I like you.
Yeah, he's like, huh, didn't think of it that way.
You can hang.
Yeah,
I in general actually love the audible they have to pull.
Yeah, because
of something messed up and they're like, hey, it went bad. I think it's a really natural way to raise the stakes a little bit more. That
it is
classic.
It's a good complication. It's also fun. Like I think it's really funny where he's like, dude, Tony, what did you do? And he's like, I'm sorry, I got hit with a Hulk. Like,
yeah,
he's like, yeah, I know this is bad. Let's figure it out. And then they're like, we're gonna go back to the 70s, and it's so fun to see like the original recipe Ant-Man helmet like on the table.
Yeah, I love all that.
That's all really good. It helps set up Cap's like destination. I know some people don't like it, but I like it.
Wait, people don't like
Cap going back for a lot of reasons, and I think the criticisms are a little valid, but I also find his conclusion very satisfying. So
yeah, I
guess we should unpack
those
it
people
a
just don't want him to be happy. So
no, they don't.
Yeah.
No, there's like two fans, and a lot of it has to do with people love these other characters that they think get sort of ruined by Cap like interfering with their lives a little bit. One is the people who love Bucky and think that Cap basically abandons him. Which I kind of get. He sort of does. They're like finally could reunite and stuff. And I know he's sort of in a spot where he's actually like is left with friends and has like the Wakandans and stuff like that. But that's his best friend, so I kind of get them being mad at that. Which on that note, I will say it is, I think, a big shame they've never sent. I think Bucky should have gone with the Guardians at the end of this movie and not Thor. But that's my hot take.
Bucky.
I think the guy who saw the flying car in the first Captain America movie should have ended up in space with the rocket with Rocket. Like I just feel like they would have like ended up hanging out more. And so I think that would have alleviated those concerns. But then I never saw the Agent Carter show, but in that show she gets like married and has a whole life, and that's like a whole part of the show. And she is like one of the founders of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Does she get?
And a lot of people find it to be like regressive for a character to just reduce her back to being his love interest. And I understand those criticisms, but I feel like she can still do a lot of that stuff. You know, at least the cool stuff. I guess that one guy gets screwed over.
At which between
it's that thing of like, I think with the idea of these sort of existing in parallel branches, that version isn't technically being erased. Like she still has to occur for him to go back in time. So
that's what I believe.
It's just like I think those are very nitpicky concerns. Which the things I've brought up on this pod I also think are nitpicky, like the rat and Thor's like they're just nitpicks, like they're just little things. So I don't know if they really matter at the end of the day because I think that conclusion is still so satisfying.
Yeah, I think letting him. I mean, it's not exactly this, but like I love the moment with Pepper and Tony when he's debating. Do I just bury this time travel thing now, or do I tell people?
Yeah.
Do I just go to bed? And her response of, "But would you be able to rest?"
Yeah.
Which is like such a well written moment.
It's like, yeah, she knows him. She knows what's gonna happen. Like,
but this idea that like Cap has always lived the life of the person who has like put his ability like to rest aside.
Yeah.
Like he has always devoted himself to the cause and all this other stuff. And that there is this whole universe now, that there are so many other heroes, that Cap feels like he has enough of an ability, that he knows
Mhm.
that the world is in safe hands, you know, and that he's offering it to Sam. Like
Yeah.
he's passing the mantle, and he's allowing himself the opportunity to be a person
Yeah.
above a soldier, which I think that is more evocative than just having him be like, I have to stick by my friends. Like,
Yeah, well, it's
the
like I think
Captain
that's part of
America.
why. I mean, the again, the Russos didn't like say this, and their theory is like I don't like as much, but the idea that he had to figure out how to exist without like a fight to fight is like why he's actually able to finally lift the hammer, is because now he has the balance of it all. And their whole thing is just that like he could do it, he just didn't want to hurt Thor's feelings, which is like funny, but I also like I'm like no, but like the drama of him like having to like grow up and like realize what he's always missing,
Yeah,
like that's what makes a king, like to like Odin's point in the first Thor movie. Like I don't know, I've always liked that theory a little bit better on why he could like lift the hammer,
that's fair. I mean,
and I think it justifies the ending too if you when having it all tied together that way.
yeah, I honestly, I think where they leave all of these characters, I think is really wonderful.
Mhm.
And Natasha's sacrifice, I think, is really
It's ugh.
there's a point to be made that maybe the movie kind of uh 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 like it becomes like the Iron Man memoriam, and they kind of like just have
Yeah, she
one.
doesn't really get a
Yeah, they give a little bit of like, Clint being like, I wish she would know that we won, and Scarlet
yeah.
Witch being like, she knows, and all that stuff. Like
Mhm.
that, they give it a little moment, but like, understandable to be like, yeah, we should talk about Natasha is
Yeah.
incredibly important to this universe, and like,
Yeah, it's also a shame she doesn't get to show up in the big final fight. She's like the one person not there.
yeah, but I will say in watching these movies of like these three movies previously, like Natasha being this person who's like constantly preoccupied with this past of hers, this red in her ledger that she's
Yeah.
trying to wipe, and all this other stuff, and that she can't escape the guilt of like the people that she killed.
Yep.
That in this movie, that the way for her, maybe in her eyes, I don't know if this is what the movie is making,
Yeah.
but it feels like it kind of is, like redeeming, working to be a hero is sacrificing herself so that
Mhm.
more, so that we can bring back all these other lives or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know what I'm pitching right now, but I just think that scene is really beautiful, and that she offers that sacrifice to Clint, I think and I think
Yeah.
Scarlett
But
just
she's
fucking
like,
nails that.
no, you have a
that
family
scene.
to go raise. Like, I'm gonna go. Like, I'm the one that can do this, and stuff.
Yeah,
Which is funny because she has a sister, as it turns out. But
that's true. But like Clint, he has that whole thing of like, oh, now that I'm Ronin, I've become this monster, and I don't deserve to live,
yeah.
and all
He's
this
like,
other
I'm
stuff.
this monster who kills objectively terrible people.
Yeah, I was like, maybe you're more brutal than before, but you are ostensibly, you're still killing criminals.
Yeah.
Which you were killing criminals before.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't make a ton of work
Doesn't
towards that.
really like explain what he's doing. He just seems to be sad and taking it out on.
It just seems like I mean, all the other stuff, like the opening scene, I think is really great.
The opening scene is so fucking harrowing.
Yeah. When he goes back, he's the one that tests time travel for the first time.
Yeah.
Seeing the baseball glove is great. I wanted to note in terms of like structure, in terms of quality of film, happens exactly at the 1 hour mark.
That's cool.
And the halfway point is Thanos learning about other nebula.
That's damn.
Pretty well,
Good shit.
Pretty well paced shit. And the attack on Avengers HQ happens basically with 1 hour left in the movie, going
That's
from
crazy.
second act into third act. So like
It's
all really
boom, 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 boom.
well structured stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been going in this segment. Should we move over to
Probably.
rewatchability things?
There's like 20 minutes left.
Of the episode?
Yeah.
Oh,
you guys
fuck.
have been going for an hour for sure.
All right.
All right, cool.
Well,
Strap
Well,
in.
we've kind of been talking about rewatchability at the start, so we can kind of
a little bit of
A
rewatch.
little bit. I mean, I find this movie very rewatchable. There's a lot of little details to like enjoy, and all the character interactions are super fun.
It says something to me in terms of the power of this movie on a rewatch, that every time I have rewatched it, it has made me cry.
Yep.
I cried yesterday watching it.
Yep.
I cried the first time watching it. I cried watching it with my
Mhm.
sister. Like, I maybe didn't cry every time I saw it in theaters, but like,
but it like drags you back to that
but it's
to 2019.
6 years later, 7 years later, I'm
Mhm.
watching this movie for the 10th time,
Yeah.
and it's still making me cry.
Yeah.
Like, it still has the power that it still had mostly. I bawled like a baby in that theater when Iron Man died. When they
Yeah.
when they hit the proof that Tony Stark has a heart,
So
and
good.
when Morgan says, "I want a cheeseburger,"
That's
and
where I cry. That's the moment that gets me is Favreau with the kid.
Favreau, when he hits that, your dad really liked cheeseburgers. I remember being in the theater and I was like, "Fuck you, movie!" Like,
Yeah.
this it hurts, and like
It does.
and that stuff hits just as much as like for lack of a better word, like hype moments hit, right?
Yeah.
The like cheer moments of Cap lifting Mjolnir, like that scene. God, he's hitting some fucking combos in that scene.
Dude is doing like Mortal Kombat finishers, like left and fucking right.
He almost uses it. He uses it as well as Thor has used it in the entire MCU.
He's using it better than Thor ever has.
He fucking nails
Thor's
that.
kind of got like 3 moves, and Cap is just like, I'm doing this and this and this, and now I'm hitting the shield at him too, and like bringing it back.
Throws
and
the
like,
shield and hits the hammer with it.
Yeah, no, dude's like, I feel like if I was Thor, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh shit, he maybe needs this.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should start practicing with this thing a little more.
But like the portals scene, which like we haven't talked about all the characters that show up in the end because
Yeah.
we would have it would be a 6-hour episode if we talked
it would
about
be a
all of them.
6-hour episode.
But-
We're already an hour in, and we haven't even gotten through most of the points
But like
we said we would do.
the moments I wrote this in my notes, and I remember saying this when we left the theater that I was like, I just watched a movie where Spider-Man held on to an Infinity Gauntlet where he was carried by Mjolnir and then was picked up by Valkyrie on a Pegasus.
Yep.
Like
I wrote that down. I was like, Spider-Man and a Pegasus, enough said.
like that is crazy that exists, and that still hits. And like maybe this is like brain turn off, like comic book fan just clapping kind of thing, but like the fact that it all feels like it does still feel cohesive, that like this universe they get to have fun with playing with all the different corners of the universe that they've set up. Those moments still bring me just as much joy as they used to.
Yeah.
Or as they first did.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah, this movie, like, so good. I got chills. I didn't cry this time, but like, I started to like well a little bit. Like, I was just like, oh, damn, there it is again, like muscle memory or something.
I didn't think I was going to. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And I was like
literally just like
happened.
every hair on my body was like up and just like, like, yeah. The comic book nerd in me is very satisfied with this movie, especially on the rewatch.
I mean, the comic book nerd in me is very satisfied. The film guy in me, like the experiment of the MCU is, and I also said this in my letterboxed review, but it was like there are plenty of criticisms and issues with the connected universe and superhero movies and what they've done to movie culture and theater etiquette and stuff like that. Like there is certainly a conversation to be had, and many of those points I agree with. I do still feel like, though, alongside that, like the existence, I said this at the beginning of the episode, but the existence of this thing is unbelievable. And the fact that they pulled it off and no one else has been able to pull it off, and even they are still struggling with continuing to pull it off after doing it, speaks to how impressive it is.
How delicate the balancing act of the whole thing is. There's a lot of plates in the air to do something like this.
I would love to eat my words on this, essentially, but like I don't think this could ever happen again, because like even, and we've talked about this with Doomsday, that it's like, even if that movie is incredible, which like I hope it is, I hope it's really great, it will never top the feeling of watching Infinity War and Endgame. And this is important to know, right? You shouldn't go into this. I'm not going to go into Doomsday being like, it's not going to top Infinity War and Endgame, so it's already not as good. That is, I'm going to remove that from my head and judge the film as what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
But it does speak to, how impressive it is that like there is no blueprint for this. There was no point of reference, and they were doing something that was impossible, and they really fucking nailed it. Yeah, that's That's my
Yeah.
piece on it.
I mean, there's nothing I can say in terms of like how impressive this movie is that hasn't already been said, I think.
In terms of narrative runway, where do you feel like this
Well,
offers
so
or
this
doesn't
one
offer?
is in an interesting spot because in a lot of ways you could just have never made it. You could have just stopped, and this
Yeah.
would have been a really incredible finale. But at the same time, we see a lot of passing of the torches, and there's a lot of characters that are still out there, like Thor, the Guardians, Bucky, Sam is going to take over. So like that, and I remember thinking like, I can't wait to see him become Captain America.
Same.
One of the moments
You were
that I
ready
always
to enter
forget.
Brave New World?
I was ready to enter Brave New World, and then we did, and I thought, okay, that was fine.
Yeah.
I don't hate that movie, but it is such a.
We'll talk about it on this podcast
yeah.
maybe at some point.
It might be worth it to do an episode to sort of just like talk through all the things that have happened leading up to Doomsday. Maybe that's something for the Patreon. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll talk about it, but that movie specifically, I find it troubling that it essentially is just trying to function the same as what the TV show is. So what's the point?
Brave New World.
Yeah, it's like we need to establish Cam as the Cap, or we need to establish Sam as the new Cap, but that's what the show is about. So
I
it's
really
weird that
loved
they have
that
to do the
show.
show. The show was really good. I had some issues with the last like couple episodes, but
Captain America,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I
and then
think
Brave New World.
that the show should have been a movie.
I think
It
they
was
should have
gonna be, I
blended.
think.
I think it
some
should
of
have
the
been
stuff
one
from
movie,
both.
a tight hour 45, and just do it. I think for me it was that it was like 6 episodes, and it was like there's not enough here for 6 episodes.
That's the problem with a lot of the shows, is that there's not a lot of.
But what
to
if
do
it
for
had
the
a
whole
Red
show.
Hulk?
All right, fine, I'm in.
Then it would have been really right. What if it's 6 hours of Harrison Ford being like, my prescription?
Yeah, I'm in.
My brand.
My drugs.
No, I need to get in touch with Tim Blake Nelson. So do I.
Yes. We want to do Oh Brother, Where Art Thou Too?
What if I picked that for my I Need One More?
That would be wild.
What if I picked the Coen Brothers, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
That'd be just, okay.
That movie rules.
Movie's
fucking masterpiece.
That movie's a masterpiece. Yeah, we talked about it. The Coens are good. Should they do a Marvel movie? Probably not. But what if they did?
They should.
What hero should they do?
It's actually, well, this isn't a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
They should do The Question.
I was just thinking that.
It's like pretty far and away from me that I'm like, they should do The Question.
Are you taking a Nicolas Cage team on that one, or you want someone else?
It could be. I mean, I've told you that for a long time, Rainn Wilson was one of the guys that I thought would be good.
That would be good, yeah.
Cage would be great. Lakeith Stanfield, I think, would be a fucking
that would
incredible
be very
question.
Fun. I would watch the hell out of that.
I think, I think there's a lot of people, honestly, that could play The Question really, really well.
Yeah.
But Lakeith is probably
Lakeith has got good. I would love to see Lakeith play Gambit.
He'd be a
I
great
feel like the
Gambit.
internet would be divided on that one, but I feel like he has the charm.
Lakeith's the best, dude. That guy rules.
And I'm all here for Channing Tatum. I really love what he's doing with it, but
we'll see how he is in Doomsday.
If we're doing a more permanent, actual, not an actual take, because that is a take on it, I guess. But
he has said his Gambit is less jokey. It's less of a parody in Doomsday. So I'm curious to see what that is.
Yeah, I'm curious what that is too. But that was something I never thought was going to be something I'd be on board for, and they won me over with that in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Tatum is Gambit.
Yeah, I've always thought that was a terrible idea, and then he finally did it, and I thought that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Dude, good. I feel
and
very happy.
When Channing
him.
Tatum is having fun, I'm having fun.
You know who's great? Fucking Channing Tatum.
Do you see The Roof Man?
I'm in the midst of watching The Roof Man.
Underrated movie from last year.
It's quite sad.
It's quite sad. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
But it's very good. You know who else is in it?
Lakeith. And Lakeith Stanfield's very good in it.
Yeah.
But moving back on.
Narrative runway.
Narrative runway. Yeah, this is one of those movies where it could have ended, and I mean, clearly there's a lot to go off of. So it's like I'm still debating, I guess, how I distribute my point on this one. How do you feel about it?
I'm not gonna say where I've landed on it, but I kind of feel similarly to you. I think it is one of those this is this whole universe. I want to see them explore their corners. We've barely touched the magic. Being the comic book head that I am at times, I'm like, oh, there's so much more universe. I do think the argument for and against it is kind of the same almost at some points, but I think you could have ended it here, and it would have been a really fitting end conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard when they're playing the trailer to Far From Home as you're sitting down to watch this movie. But there's that speech that Tony gives at the end where he's like, "What an amazing world, universe now," and it's like, I do want to see this universe continue because I do love all of the characters that they've left me with. In ending the story of, Iron Man and Captain America and Black Widow and, kind of leaving a question mark with Thor and all this other stuff. Those are the characters that I came into this universe learning to love. And now that we're on the outside, it's like, I love Bucky and I love the Falcon and I love the Guardians and I love Spider-Man and I like all of these other people. We didn't even talk about Captain Marvel, who is not in this movie a ton, but when she shows up, she kicks ass, dude.
She does. That fight's pretty cool.
I hadn't really thought of this until this watch through, but I think it's really funny that Peter watches her fly headfirst twice through Thanos' ship, right?
Yeah.
Which is presumably made out of vibranium.
She comes down and is like, "Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?" And he goes, "How are you going to get through all those people?"
And
I'm like,
she's probably going to be okay.
Like, she's got backup, and that's like, I think such a powerful scene.
She's got backup, but also like she doesn't. Really
but she doesn't actually need it.
She doesn't need it, but
through a ship.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was thinking that exact thing this time around.
I just want to call out that she's got help moment real quick.
I like that moment.
I like that moment. To the people that are watching and don't like that moment, get over it.
Get over it. It wasn't for you.
It's also like fucking comic. Shut the fuck up.
That moment works because I remember because I was we were all kind of like spaced out in like kind of a weird way for this viewing.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but it just like in a way we didn't like normally like. I feel like we usually like seats for like that big group, but because of how hard it was to get like tickets, we were all like kind of in weird spots. But I remember I'm pretty sure I was sitting next to my sister. Maybe she told me after. But when that moment happened, she felt like so like empowered. And I feel like that's why you have those moments. You know? Like that. And so like for the people who are like, "Oh, you're pandering," shut up. It wasn't for you. Okay.
Dave, you're a white guy. I'm just kidding.
It's true. It wasn't for me either, but I'm sorry. I have to confess. I am white. Yes.
We've been hiding this from you, Matt.
I know.
Just kidding.
I
know. No. She's one.
It's like this moment works for the people it was designed to work for. And
I also love that moment. I think it's cool as shit.
I think it's fun.
And also it's like, bro, like,
yeah. Does she need that team? Not technically, but that's not the point. That's not what.
If you want to fucking stay mad that there's like awesome female characters in this movie, and that Scarlet Witch kicks ass, and Captain Marvel kicks ass, and Nebula kicks ass, and Gamora if you have a problem with that, I don't want to hang out with you. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, have some fun and open yourself up.
Yeah,
is what I will say. Do we think I was vague enough in my telling people to fuck off? Or?
No, I think you're pretty specific. No.
Okay, good. But we want to have an inclusive audience here. But yeah, I just, in terms of narrative runway, I think if it had ended here, I think there would have been people saying, "I wish we could have seen more."
Exactly.
And as it has continued, people will continue to say, "I think it should have ended with Endgame." I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Probably, yeah. I think kind of the mistake was how many TV shows they were trying to do, and I think that's like a corporate issue.
Yeah, they had a
because they were launching Disney Plus.
Disney economics.
Because Disney Plus dropped the following year, and then we were in lockdown, and they wanted content, and so I feel like they got forced to do a lot of projects that weren't ready. Like several things were supposed to be movies, and they got dragged into TV shows, and they weren't really designed to do that. I think they tried to make the best out of it. But
it's been talked about that there was a mandate that they were like more.
Yeah,
that they literally
we want one
Disney,
of these to end and
more.
another one to start. Like you need to go like back to back to back to back to back. No breathing room.
And that is
to which I will say, if you drink enough water, it's poisonous to
humans. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll head into the score for this. Like I'll start with my narrative runway point. I really went back and forth on giving this a half a star or a full, or a half a point or a full point. We talked about what quantifies kind of a full. What
you're gonna get there, Matt.
I will.
You got this.
I realized I didn't send my score
We're not
in.
going to judge
We
you
can
based on
edit
what you say.
this
No,
down in the
we can't.
episode, right? We can?
We can't.
I think he's saying we can.
We cannot.
I can't.
If you guys don't hear this in the future,
We cannot wait to
just
edit this
know
out
I'm
of the
being
episode.
silenced.
Wow. Well, now we can't cut it out. But I gave it half a point.
You're wrong. No.
I think
Fight me for that half a point.
if we're talking about the way that we quantify the score, right?
Yeah.
Are you setting up themes, characters, plot points that can be explored in a sequel? I think if we're looking at the main characters of this film,
Yeah.
I think the narrative runway for them, I think they have not exhausted, but I think they have told the story that they need to tell with the characters of this film. And I think in terms of thematics, right, there's not a lot of thematics to continue to explore. I think in terms of characters, it does offer the rest of the Marvel universe and the characters that we've come to love as points of revisiting. And I think those characters are really ripe. But I do think I am not one way or the other on they should have ended it at Endgame or they should have done more.
Kind of seems like you are with that half point.
Well, that's what the half point is that I'm like,
no.
I think you could have done, I think both are fitting for this film. And I really just reckoned with, like, if they had stopped the Marvel universe at this point, would I have felt like they nipped it in the bud, that they ended it too early?
Yeah.
And I don't think they did. I think they said they gave a compelling story over the course of all these things.
Yeah.
I think at this point we're now living in an embarrassment of riches. Where like things can be bad and things can be good, and we can see certain things and not see certain things and enjoy them.
Yeah.
I came in to the movie saying I'm obviously going to give it a full point, but I think the ending is so beautiful that I almost think there is a strength in leaving it here.
I agree with that.
So I gave it the half point. In terms of the other two, rewatchability and in quality of film, I gave them the full point. They're just going to knock them out. I gave it a 2.5 out of 3.
All right.
And I cannot believe that I did, to be honest.
I know.
I'm kind of surprised.
I am a little surprising you too.
We're going to break that down in tomorrow's meeting, just as a heads up about your future with us.
Look, my also thing was we gave Infinity War the perfect 10.
Yeah.
So
you just didn't want to do
Which there's a strong argument it's a better movie.
I think Endgame, people make the argument Infinity War is better. I've said this on the episode. I prefer Endgame to Infinity War. But in terms of the way
think that's valid though still.
That we judged this show, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 3.
Okay. Well, for quality and rewatchability, they each got a full point. And to be dramatic, going into the narrative runway category,
drum
roll, I give it a full point just because we kind of know that like they really like step off in a kind of a bad way going forward. But I feel like the way they teed this off was really like, I was so like ready to see what was going to happen and not because it's not really a soft reboot, but as this like changing of the guard happened, I really wanted to see what was going to happen with all the other characters as they take up the mantle and pick up, all like where we left off and stuff. And even though I don't think they quite nailed a lot of those projects, I still thought that the way this movie does that is so strong. I feel like I would have never been satisfied if it had just ended here, even though I agree this is a like perfect ending.
Yeah,
for so many things. Like the way it ends on that final shot of just Steve with Peggy is such a like full circle moment that it's like, yeah, that honestly would have been a really beautifully poetic way to end it, just knowing that everyone went on and did those things. But the nerd in me still wants to see it. So.
Fair. And to state it as well, like I am not one of those people that think that phases 4, 5, and 6 have been all crap.
There's some good stuff in there.
I think there's really, really good stuff.
It's a really mixed bag.
I feel like generally in the conversations that we've had with friends outside of the show,
yeah,
I feel like I have been generally on the more positive side of all the stuff that's come out.
Okay.
There are stuff that I don't think is very good.
Yeah,
but there are things that are in my MCU ranking that are high up there that are all shit from phases 4, 5, and 6. Like, Loki and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 are both in my top 10.
Yeah, those are both some bangers.
WandaVision, She-Hulk, Wakanda Forever, Falcon the Winter Soldier, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four are all in my top 20. I think Agatha All Along is really great. I think Werewolf by Night rules.
I still have to watch that.
I think
I haven't also
Spider-Man.
seen the Christmas special.
I think Shang-Chi is really, really fucking fun. I think Miss Marvel is really solid. I think Hawkeye rips. I think The Marvels is slept on. I don't think that movie is a masterpiece, but I think if for anything in the MCU to be like the first bomb, like real bomb, I think it's really shitty that it was The Marvels.
Yeah,
I don't think the movie deserves that.
That movie's bombing, and it's not their fault. It's the corporate politics around it that have sort of, I think,
it's also the SAG strikes. They couldn't really market it.
They couldn't really market it. I feel like they also didn't have a lot of faith in it, and I feel like Disney kind of wanted it to fail, which is maybe a kind of a loaded sentence, but
yeah,
because they tend to do that with projects. I feel like any movie that's ever flopped for them is a movie they wanted to fail because they wanted to make a point. Like Treasure Planet and Atlantis, they were trying to kill the 2D animation division, and so they made those movies bomb on purpose. And I feel like this was one of those situations.
But yeah,
I think that's fair to the people in it because
I agree. But yeah, like I like stuff that is in phase 4, 5, and 6, and I think there's been a lot of successful stuff.
I really like Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts is really good.
I don't like the final 3 minutes of that movie, but
yeah, I get that.
Pretty much the rest of the watch up, I was really engaged with that one.
I think John Walker's speech to Congress or the trial at the end, when he's like, I followed orders. You made me this person. I was just doing what you told me. All that stuff. Yeah. I think all that stuff is great. I think Sebastian Stan works his fucking ass off when he realizes he's so not mind wiped in Falcon the Winter Soldier. I cannot wait to see Tatiana Maslany again as She-Hulk.
Too bad she's not coming back.
Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel is one of the best comic book castings of all time. Straight up. Like, I think it is up there with Tony Stark as Iron Man or RDJ as Iron Man. Yeah. Like, it is so, it cannot be understated how good she is in that role.
I gotta check out her show.
And how fun she is.
Because I just started, I've had such bad burnout, I haven't wanted to check stuff out. And like, even like Loki, like season 2, I really like put that off for a while. And then I'm really glad I did watch it. But like I'm finally like starting to check back in, one because of the show, and then Wonder Man actually looks really good, and so that first episode's pretty good.
First episode is pretty good.
Not a lot happens, so if you're expecting explosions, sorry, but I feel like there's a lot of really good character stuff being set up, so I'm very excited to see what they do with all that.
I'm all for and by the time this episode comes out, Wonder Man will be long gone. It literally just
like the
came
whole
out.
thing has been dropped, so by the time we're watching this, but yeah, I saw that I saw a TikTok where they were just talking about like the 2 highest rated ones is Miss Marvel and Wonder Man. So I'm like, okay, I definitely have to do my homework between now and Doomsday because I do want to talk about it. Fair. And I want to have a more actual objective view. I feel like I should have rolled up to this with a lot of thoughts, but I feel like I'm missing about half the equation now because I just got so badly burnt out.
I think it's, as someone who just gave a half point to Narrative Runway, I think it's easy for some people to kind of just like dunk on the MCU now and be like, MCU sucks, blah, blah, blah. But I think if you say that, I think you're just missing a lot of good stuff. Listen,
yeah, we're getting caught up in a different argument, and it's not that some of those points aren't valid, but it's also sort of missing the point of what's happening, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not saying everything's great. Like I saw Thor: Love and Thunder, I saw Ant-Man and Quantumania, I saw Secret Invasion.
Is absurdly bad.
Like I there are things that I liked Black Widow up until basically the third act. Like
that's kind of how I felt about it, and I didn't even like hate the third act, but I thought it wasn't as strong.
Yeah, like there are things that I don't think I'm not like ignorant to criticism on them, but I think there's certainly, to your point of like, I want to see these characters continue. I think they have continued in ways that I think are fun and interesting and cool. But do you have any final thoughts on your score? Not to take over everything. But
no, I don't have any final thoughts. I gave it a 3 out of 3. Do we want to turn it over to Dish on the God Mic for his score, or is he just going to give us our final score?
What movie are we talking about?
We're talking about Howard the Duck.
Oh shit! I watched
I did not watch that.
What if I picked that for my idea?
Can I choose the What If episode that was starring him
with Howard the Duck? Good, just good and cool.
You're allowed to pick the Star-Lord T'Challa episode.
Perfect.
Also kind of fun episode.
I haven't
wild.
seen that one. But.
So, Endgame, amazing movie. As anyone listening can tell, I was like, I'm not going to be in this episode, and then I continued to talk all throughout it because it's fantastic.
Wait, say that again.
Ends episode.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 3 out of 3. Big surprise.
Fuck, I'm sorry, guys.
So that is an 8. Wait, is that an 8.5?
It's a 9.
It's an 8.5.
Or 8.5. Yeah.
It's an 8.5 out of
yeah.
10. And I will say I give it the full 3 because, for one, it's an amazing movie. I love watching it, even though it is a long movie. It doesn't feel like a slog. But for me, I feel like I take into account the state of Disney.
Yeah.
Post, and I don't want to condemn it for the sins of phase 5 and 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I think if you just look at this movie, I wanted more.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I base my my narrative runway on a lot through all the movies that we do, is more of like, when I watch this, did I just want more? It doesn't matter what I wanted, where I needed to go, where it went, even, because we obviously watch stuff that has come out before. But it's like, did I watch this and just want more of whatever the heck this was? And I definitely did. So I was like, I was all about it. Gonna give it the full amount. So
I almost feel bad now giving it the half.
don't feel
point.
bad. I think I respect
You're
it.
entitled to your opinion, except you're wrong.
I
and
respect
hate you.
it, and I
Will
think,
I look weak if I offer a bonus point just to give it, just because
Yeah.
Okay, then.
But
I'm
I
not
will.
Also,
gonna
that
do-
bonus point is.
and I will do it strongly because I was thinking of doing it. I give it one of my bonus points.
I
Right
was
on.
fully coming in like before this movie started to be like Hall of Famer number 2. Let's fucking
Right.
go.
Yeah.
And I really,
Yeah.
I had to be truthful. I'm sorry. Infinity War is
Damn.
up there. I felt like having Infinity
Yeah.
War and Endgame up there.
You're worried about being judged?
Personally or the show?
I don't know.
Both.
Both.
No,
But-
No,
I
I
feel
don't know.
more judged giving it the half point. I feel like if I gave it the full.
You're like, I'm not even feeling judged by the internet,
Yeah.
just you two.
Good.
No, it's not even you guys. I'm
What's wrong
sitting
with that?
I'm sitting in this couch worried about what happens in 2 months when this episode comes
I know.
out. But I love this movie. I really do.
Yeah.
I will watch it plenty more times after
Doesn't
this.
sound like you
Same.
love it.
Let's put it in the Hall of Fame.
But I am giving it my extra point. So it is at a 9.5 because we can't do them like that.
Yep.
What if I gave it my extra point and then it was a
No.
10.5?
Could you
I'm
give it?
out.
Could you give it a half point?
Dunzo.
I'm sorry. No,
Cool.
I
I think that's great.
yeah, what a great stretch of movies, to be honest.
Honestly, no, it's really fun. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
even out of context, it's a little you're like, oh wait, fuck, what happened in between his movies? Because there's like 5
Yeah.
to 10 movies in between each one. Maybe not that many, but you know,
Sometimes
was there? I feel like
I think
from,
phase 2 through
from,
3,
From
there's a-
Ultron to Infinity War, there was like 10
there were a
movies,
couple years
wasn't
where
there?
they were doing 3 movies a year.
Yeah. So, and God, what a fun set of years those were.
Yeah,
We really were spoiled. You've said
Truly.
embarrassment of riches. It really is. Like, it is really.
it's easy to criticize when we're in a place where we're so lucky,
Yeah, honestly, we are. It is. Like,
but it
it's
is
like,
important. The
it-
criticism is important.
Yeah, the criticism is because I mean they've listened to it. I mean they're doing good work to try and get us back on track and stuff. And like, I mean I don't think it ever, to your point, like a lot of stuff that's come out wasn't as bad as we were saying, but it also wasn't as good as what we were getting. So it's a little bit hard to I think for the fandom to sort of agree on what works and what doesn't. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of underrated stuff that did come out, and I'm gonna go back and try and catch it all
Fair.
if I can.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. I gotta maybe gonna watch Secret Invasion.
Well, before you watch Secret Invasion, should we tee up what we're going to be watching next week?
Yeah. What are we watching next week, Matt?
Well, after spending all this time in space, we're gonna just get our feet back in the sand and earth, and we're gonna open up a book.
A book of like Wuthering Heights, or
That would be funny. When does that movie come out? Are we?
I think
It'll
it's coming
already be out when this
It's probably
comes
coming out
out.
like Valentine's Day, so it'll probably
Yeah.
we'll probably be past it.
We're
so
gonna be well past
it's a
it.
weak joke. Let me
Um,
take it back again. Something. No, damn, I lost it.
we're doing The Mummy. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
we
You had a
are
good setup, and I derailed it to lose focus.
no, because
The
even
1999 Mummy.
yes,
1999's The Mummy.
we should state what we will be doing for this next series is we will be doing kind of a similar to what we did with Halloween. We know
Yep.
that there are 2 other Mummy movies in the Brendan Fraser series, but we are holding on to those.
We're holding on to those because we're probably going to get another one in that particular version.
Yes, we are.
Um,
We are keeping those in our back pocket, and there is a reboot of the Mummy that's kind of in keeping with the Invisible Man and the Wolfman remakes that we got.
Yep.
Over these last
yeah,
few
Lee
years.
Cronin's The Mummy is coming. So.
Yes, Lee Cronin, who
And
did
that
Evil
will
Dead
be-
Rise.
Yes.
It's a movie that is sick.
slaps. That movie is great.
So we will be covering Mummy 1999,
Mm-hmm.
Mummy 2017
With Tom Cruise.
with Tom Cruise.
Yep,
that one.
Yeah.
And Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yep.
We talked about doing the original 1920s Mummy,
Yeah.
but then decided against it.
Yeah.
Because we're cowards.
Yeah.
Maybe for the when we do Mummy Returns and Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah,
whatever it's
maybe
called.
we can throw that one in.
We can throw that
and
one in
sort
the
of
beginning.
Talk about what the notes are. I'm probably going to try and watch it between now and those episodes, so we can sort of juxtapose the conversation a little
Fair.
bit. But I think we're kind of sticking with the ones that are kind of most recently in the public consciousness.
Yes.
Because not a lot of people have probably seen the 1930s one. So.
Because every single day I think about the 1999 one.
Yeah, pretty much.
it's on the it's my Roman Empire.
It's
To use a dated meme. But we will be talking Brendan Fraser and
Mhm.
Rachel Weisz in The Mummy
in The Mummy.
and Armin Vosloo.
Yep. And Oda for is that a name? I wrote it down.
It is
Oded Fair.
yes, Oded Fair. And who plays John Hannah as Jonathan?
John Hannah.
Tarnan.
Who we haven't seen since fucking The Last of Us randomly.
He does show up in The Last of Us, which that was
He's
hilarious.
like, we're all gonna die.
Will we talk about The Last of Us next episode?
Mhm.
You'll just have to listen to find out.
Yes.
Subscribe to our Patreon. Watch The Mummy 1999.
And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to another episode of We Need One More.
Be sure to click on the link for our socials and to subscribe to our Patreon, as those are the best ways to support the podcast.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.